Hey Oaks family, Pastor Matt here. Just wanted to give an update, kind of where we've been and where we are as a church. And so, all good things. I'm excited about that. First off, we made it through 2020. Wow, right? Just wow. It was an exhausting, crazy year, and a year I think that God was doing things. And it reflects in some of these things that I'm going to share with us as a church, and things that I'm just deeply grateful for, both to God and to you, and just the work that He's doing. And so, first off, just financial update on our church, which we haven't done one in a while. And I'm not going to get into the weeds with it, but here's what I would just say: what a year! We met budget, and actually we had an increase of 15% on our overall giving snapshot of 2020. So we were up 15% comparatively to 19, and wow, it's astounding to me that in a year of pandemic, a year of unprecedented things and uncertainty and fear and worry and disconnection, and we're all scattered, and still yet God moved in you, in this community. Like, you're the folks that He did it through. So I want to say thank you, and I want to hopefully when you're watching this, you stop and you just think for a moment, God, what kind of God? Like, what kind of God does that? Who chooses to have our biggest budget year in a year of global pandemic? I mean, if that says anything about God, that should say something astounding to you, because I know for a fact that many pastors have struggled to figure out how we're going to keep the lights on, how we're going to keep staff paid, how we're going to keep ministries going. And it's just not been the case for the Oaks, and it is a testament to the Spirit of the living God inside of you, moving, speaking, convicting, bringing joy, bringing risk, adventure, all of those things that I am deeply moved by and discipled by. Like, it actually, it grows me, it encourages me, it keeps me going. So well done in that. Keep it up. Keep it up in 21. Let's see what we can do this year, because there are opportunities. The reality is that the money that you all give translates into opportunities for ministry and to make an impact, and it just does. I'll give you some of the rundown of that, of the things that happened, as well as kind of what we hope to see happen throughout this year. But really quick, so basically, we've kind of, as a church, we're kind of centered around these three core values. This is our vision as a church of what it means for us to be disciples and to make disciples of Jesus. For us, we're not really doing anything new per se. We are actually just, after a deep reflection over the last 6 months to a year, we've just decided, let's just triple down on who we want to be as a church. And that is, we want to be this church that is full of rest. We rest in God. I've been preaching on this idea of Sabbath rest, what it means to develop a non-anxious presence through the gospel, with God and in this world. And so that means having this rhythm of stopping and worshiping, and just a good balance of work and rest and work and rest. It's all centered around Jesus and His work, and your neighbor and your family. So we're going to continue to do that. So I want to push you to continue to participate on Sundays, whether that be in person or online. Just continue to worship with us. Continue to participate in the sacraments as we figure out how to roll those out and do those. And so continue to do that. It is an important aspect of what it means to be a rested church. You have to continue to hear the gospel. You have to continue to practice this idea of stopping and reflecting on God more than you're talking about producing or getting ahead. Secondly, so we want to be a rested church. Secondly, we want to be a rooted church, rooted in community. And we practice that through community groups. We just love our community groups. We think it is an important part. And here's why. Because for us, what it means to be rooted in community, the reason why we say that and we think it's so important is we are about deep discipleship to Jesus. Hopefully, if you've been coming here, you know that. Well, for us, we think deep discipleship happens in the context of relationships. I think that you need to stay put. I think you need to stay put, open up, and give. Give yourself. So it's like you need to stay in one place. You need to get to know the people around you. Let them get to know you. Figure out what it means to kind of go deeper into a relationship, and then center yourself around a group of people, around the Word. If you do that, things just happen. There's just growth there. We just think that's where it happens. I don't think growth happens in isolation. And I don't think growth happens when you just bounce around all the time and you close off and you don't give yourself to one group of people. So rooted community. So we're going to push community groups in 21. And lastly, so you got rest, you got roots, and then we got renewal. And with renewal, what I mean by that is essentially as we are being filled up in this rest and we're recognizing, yeah, I don't have anything to prove. And I can calm down. I don't have to be scared of everything because God has me. And I'm known by people, and I'm developing friendships, and I'm figuring out what it means to grow and learn the scripture and see what it means and what it's saying to me and what it's saying to my neighbors and my friends. And then last week, it's like now we want to give ourselves to the broken places and people around us. And so for renewal, the way that we're going to practice that is through our mercy ministry, our ministry to the poor, to the marginalized, for folks that are struggling financially with practical needs. And so we're going to continue to push that. And we just want to continue to do more and more and more in that particular area at a pace that makes sense and at a pace that's healthy and with balance. But if a church is just closed off, filling up the coffers and not helping the poor, then it's just not a healthy church, right? And so deep discipleship is being full of rest, calming down. It's being in community and growing. And it's giving what you can to the poor, helping push back and being these generous givers to the brokenhearted. That's what we see in the scripture. And so we just want to continue to push that. And with kids has been wild and unexpected, and it's been a kind of an uncharted territory for us in pandemic, like our children's ministry. It hasn't gone anywhere. I mean, honestly, if anything, it's made us more aware of the need to really, as a church, push and communicate and teach the value of discipling your kids at home. And learn as best you can. And I get it. I'm clumsy at it too. I have so much to learn. And we're going to continue to do that. But we will be rolling out surveys in the coming months about what it looks like to phase back into a children's ministry where we actually bring kids into classrooms at some point. So stay tuned for that as we have parents that consider stepping back into that ministry. But one thing I want to make you aware of that we want to see happen is that we would love to see incorporate kids into community groups this coming year. And what I mean by that particularly, I'm thinking of like our teenage group. As we continue to have teenagers in our church, we want to encourage them because they matter, and they might need to be communicated with and interacted with and related to in a different way. I mean, we want to be sensitive to that. And so we're trying to figure that out. And a lot of that, I think, for us is like thinking about, okay, we want to raise up some people to be community group leaders that would consider hosting a group that's that age and really just learn them, know them, love on them, encourage them, teach them the Bible, teach them the scriptures. Sort through their questions with a non-anxious presence. What an amazing thing that would be. And so if that's something you're interested, pray about that and reach out to us. We would love to see community group leaders start to develop this year that specifically target teenagers. So in terms of what God has done, all that has been going on and continuing to go on. Look, our mercy ministry, just some quick numbers that are super encouraging that I think you'd want to know. One, our mercy ministry last year, this past winter, we gave out 1,000 coats to roughly 150 families. It's amazing. To 1,000 coats through our Coats and Cookies initiative. Roughly 350 different families came through our food pantry this year, 350 families. Our budget now is about $4 per person coming through there because of our help with Shared Harvest, which is super encouraging. We're averaging about 89 families per week coming through our food pantry every week, 89. And it's going up, according to Megan, our mercy director. And so pray, give, because we're not stopping. If anything, we're going to continue to forge ahead and see what God wants to do with us and through us in our mercy ministry. And there'll be some excitement for us and new things that'll be rolling out. We've had 14 groups. We have 14 community groups, and we want to continue to see more. So 14 community groups that are ministering to people and loving on people, and people that are getting known and sharing their lives with each other. And we want to see more community groups this year. And speaking of those two ministries, one thing I want to give us an update on. So like I said, we're doubling, tripling down on these areas, these ministries. We're still trying to focus our energy, our resources, our prayer, and our attention on Sunday gatherings, and we're going to continue to provide online services to you. So we're not taking that away. So don't worry about that if you're not in a place to re-enter back into the physical gathering. So we're still going to continue to push that. We're going to continue to push Mercy. So what we've done is we've actually ramped Megan Hurley up to a part-time role here at the church officially. Some of you might be laughing, wasn't she already? Well, sadly, no, but we've made that more official now. So she was definitely putting in the amount of work for that. And so she'll be in the office a couple days a week now working with us. And so because I don't want to see that ministry get siloed off, and she doesn't want to see that either, but we want it to be such a deep part, an integrated part into the DNA of who we are as a church. And so I want to have more contact. The other staff want to have more contact with Megan and working with her and figuring out what it means for us to embody as a whole church the Mercy ministry, and for it to not just be this one work out there somewhere that a group of people do. And so I'm excited to have her come on board in a more official staff role. That's super encouraging. Megan's wildly good at what she does, and I'm thankful for her. She could be a lot of other places and giving her time and her talents. So we're excited about that. The other thing is we have not been able to invest everything that we've wanted to up to this point. We've had pastors investing their time, like Pastor Brandon and all of that. But we want to bring a pastor full time to really lead our group's ministry. So what we've done is we've brought Pastor Eric on for that. So Pastor Eric, most of you, hopefully all of you know him. He preaches from time to time, but he'll be coming on as our group's pastor starting up in the next couple of weeks. And so that's really, really exciting. I couldn't think of a more equipped guy to take the role. He's been here for years and years. He knows us, and he is excited about working with you all and what it looks like to develop community groups, what it looks like to develop community groups for kids. And this stuff just needs time, a lot of time. A lot of prayer, a lot of investment, and he's willing to take that on. And again, another individual that's wildly talented and capable and just so passionate about not just the gospel, but then the church, and the church, the gospel moving through the church. And so, so he's coming on full time, and so we're really, really excited about that as well. I think that's probably as far as our updates and what our church has seen happen and kind of what you can be praying and thinking about. That's about it. Now, on a personal note, I do have one thing I'd like to share. I am going to be phasing out this coming week for a sabbatical, and so I want to give you a heads up on that. I'm well, and I want you to know that, and I love being here, and but I'm tired, and it has been one heck of a year, and I know it's been a heck of a year for you. And one of the things that we did that you don't know about is that months and months ago, previous to when we launched this Sabbath Rest series for the whole church, is I've been teaching Sabbath rhythms and Sabbath rest with the elders separately for months and months. And we've just been having all these conversations about that. And one of the things that I wanted to see us do is develop this, because we want to lead by example. And so I really wanted to figure out what it means to incorporate a more healthy rhythm into even our leadership. And so we kind of developed this 2-for-2 rule. Basically, every 2 years, these lay elders need to step down for 2 months and just take a rest and step out of the ministry, rest, recalibrate. Because as the scriptures say, no one should be a pastor under compulsion. And so you want to just take the time to remember what God is doing in your life, listen to the Spirit, not be responsible for so many decisions, and rest and come back, because we think that work-based that comes out of rest is much better work than work that's exhausted or feeling pressured or under compulsion. So we did that. Well, here's what happened, right? As you can guess, they eventually kind of came to me, started talking to me and said, hey, it's time, Matt. It's just time. Like, if you're not tired already, you're going to be really tired, and we want to play the long game here. And so that was the conversation, and I embraced it for numerous reasons. One, because I don't want to have a breakdown. I don't want to get burnt out. I want to continue to be full of passion and rest, and I just want to feel not just encouraged and not just at peace, but I want to feel alive. Like, I want to flourish. And I don't want to betray the things that I teach. And guys that preach are notorious for not practicing what they preach. And so pray for me. And that's some uncharted territory for me, stepping out for a couple months and figuring out what it means to be still for an extended period of time. Not just little pockets, but really still. And but it's time for me to not talk. It's time for me to not talk for a little bit, and to listen, and to recognize my own humanity and my own limitations, because I have them, and you have them, and we really want to reflect this as a church. We don't want to just reflect a church that honors our limitations and our humanity, but we want to be a church that reflects a community that is not centered around any human being, like me or any other pastor or leader, but it's centered around Jesus and His grace. And churches, man, they get weird when they get centered around one guy or one girl and their personality. God help us if it gets centered around my personality. It gets weird, and churches are notorious for straying from their first love, this Jesus, this one who came and rescued us and is welcoming us into a life of rest and flourishing. And they forfeit that, and they stray from that, and they get sucked up into other things, into worldly people, and whether it's politicians or dynamic speakers or anything, the next new craze, I don't know. There's all these new things, and we don't want to be that. We want to stay centered on Jesus and His gospel. And so part of that means is just doing things to make sure that we have guardrails up. And so, yeah, I'm going to be stepping out, and because we think that encourages that. And so pray for me. I'll be praying for you. If you have questions, reach out. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so thrilled to be a pastor in 21. Man, what a year to be alive after 2020. And I'm excited. I am, and I'm thrilled to be your pastor in the coming, rest of the winter into the spring. But I do need time to rest. And so I love you. Be praying for you. God bless you. Peace be with you.